Hello, Fort Worth ISD, and welcome back to the 2019-20 school year and to our Convocation Conversation. Thank you for taking this break in your day. For you, school has already begun, and you're getting everything up and running and ready for our students. This is an important time. You're preparing to instill knowledge and skills and literally change young lives. Well, we're giving you back at least a little bit of time by having another virtual convocation. And this one, even more streamlined than the last couple of years. There's a lot to be excited about this new school year, including a new curriculum. You'll want to hear what our panel has to say about that and more over the next half hour. Among the members of the panel is our Fort Worth ISD Board President, Jacinto Ramos Jr. Cinto.
Saludos. I also want to welcome you back as well. All of us on the Board of Education are so proud of our teachers and staff, and we will be supporting your good work every way we can this school year.
Also on our panel are four principals: Myrna Blanchard of North Highmount Elementary, Jeff Bartolotta of Kirkpatrick Middle School, Whitney Scott of Eastern Hills Elementary, and Rodrigo Durbin of South Hills High School. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Great to kick off the year with you. We've had quite a bit of change this summer, particularly in the area of curriculum. Whitney, what kind of feedback are you hearing?
Well, Dr. Scribner, you know that the best teach is the first teach. And so we're really excited about our new curriculum because it is user-friendly, and within 1 to 2 or 3 clicks, you have everything you need to design effective instruction for our students. You have our high leverage teaks readily available, our assessments, and all best practices. And our teachers and administrators are really excited about the new format of our new curriculum.
Yeah, I heard a lot of folks talk about the need for tangible support in the classroom. Jeff, what about the middle school?
Well, Dr. Scribner, one really great thing about the curriculum, like Whitney said, was the fact that the assessments are so aligned this year to the STAR with our higher leverage TEKS, and really making it very easy to find and to get to that area. Also, we have such a large mobility rate here in our district, students going in between middle schools and elementary schools. So now, students, when they go between each school, are going to be able to have the same curriculum because it's so well laid out, it's very detailed, and so no matter where that student goes within the district, they're going to be able to pick right up where they left off.
Mm-hmm. So we always talk about curriculum and instruction, and curriculum really is the roadmap. Do you see that at North Highmount for new teachers, for example?
Absolutely. I think it kind of gives our teachers that firm foundation. Mm-hmm. And they say a viable guaranteed curriculum is like the first thing that teachers want so that they can teach and get students engaged. So I think, Dr. Scribner, just putting that out there right at the beginning is really going to help our teachers get started. The
metaphor I sometimes use is we're like a big IKEA store, and we're sending out boxes of furniture, but I need the directions in terms of how to do that. Yeah. Some people are very handy, they don't need it, but many of us do need that kind of guidance. What about the secondary level?
Just falling back on everybody's, we talked about clear and simple, and that's what, that's been the message from the district, clear and simple. And I think our teachers are really going to appreciate the clear and simple format. It's going to provide the support for our students. It's going to provide the rigor that we're always looking in our curriculum. The teachers are the masters of the classroom, and we're here to provide that support and resource for them. Yeah, because we're excited about it.
We have a wide range of experience and a wide range of ability, not only in our classroom with our students, but in some cases with our teachers. We want to provide that kind of support.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have customers in our school district. We have our external customers and our internal customers. One of the themes that we're focused on this year is, in fact, customer service, parents and students, but also internally. What are you all doing at the school site level with regard to customer service?
Well, we think, at North Highmount and at all of our schools, really, our front office staff, our support staff, they're all the front line. And so, we want our parents, our families, our teachers, everyone who walks in that door to feel welcomed, to feel like they're getting their needs met from the time they walk in until the time they walk out. I joke and I say, and it's not really a joke anymore, but I say that our front office staff, they're directors of first impressions. They're the ones that first greet our families and make them feel welcomed, from our students who are just entering and have never been in school, even to the families who are nervous about what school is and are we going to be welcoming. And so that is one of our biggest pushes, is to always be that welcoming, smiling face, but also speak words of encouragement every day.
Yeah, it's so important for students. We talk often about the importance of content and skills and knowledge, but you can't have content if you don't have connection and culture and climate. That's certainly true at the high school level with our adolescents.
Oh, definitely. So something we strive to provide, like at Southfields High School, is that all students, and I repeat, all students are welcome at our campus, and all families. Que vengan con confianza. So students come with confidence. Y estamos para ayudarles. We're here to support you, and I'm here to help you. And I think that's the biggest key, is providing that, that love and that support for students. It's you're not going to do anything without that. So
Customer service is also about kind of feeling safe. On Friday night, actually, Cinto spoke to a group of almost 1,000 parents at La Gran Plaza. There's a lot of anxiety in the community, particularly with some of our Spanish-speaking homes, and just wanted you to share a little bit of your experience there.
Sure. No, Dr. Scribner, it was great to share the panel, or not the panel, but the discussion with you at La Gran Plaza, and to witness the turnout as what we did, and families that are engaging and it feeling somewhat comfortable enough to come to that kind of a public space with the current climate that we're in, and listening to families and the fear. And it's really not even just the Latinx community, right? Because I'm also aware of the high level of immigrant populations that are coming to Fort Worth ISD, and really throughout the entire district. So I think that fear is very real. I think we heard that on Friday. And I think that we as a district are ready to be responsive to this type of a climate. So I appreciate your leadership on that.
No, thank you. And I really appreciate you as well, sending the message to our parents and community that Fort Worth is a welcoming place. Yeah. When you talk about urban environments, whether it's Eastern Hills or on the north side of Kirkpatrick also, the public school often is the safest place. And I know a lot of our students, they're very excited to come back to school, to have some sense of stability in their lives. Do you all see that?
We do see that. We talk about at Eastern Hills constantly how it is intentional to create that positive culture environment for our families, for our students, and making sure that we're safe. And part of that we talked about is the connection. We think about Mr. Bob, who always is welcoming our students, but that's again part of them feeling safe and coming back from a summer and being a part of our community.
Yeah, you guys have a pretty good culture and climate at Kirkpatrick.
Oh, we have an amazing culture and climate. It starts with the staff, and it starts with all the auxiliary staff. Knowing the vision, what's the campus vision, and being able to help any parent or guest stakeholder that comes into the building to really know what is Kirkpatrick Middle School's vision. We also look at the assistance we get with building relationships with our officers. Making a safe and secure environment in school starts with your officers out in front of the building. So being out there greeting parents, making connections with students. Officer Greer, Officer Bradford at my campus, they mentor. They talk to students. The kids want to come to school because they know that they have that connection, not with just their teachers, but with all the staff members at Kirkpatrick Middle School. It's a great place.
Yeah, we're very fortunate in Fort Worth to have a meaningful and strong relationship with Fort Worth PD, more in a preventative mode. At the high school level, I know that's important because students sometimes are coming and bringing social issues, social problems from home, from the community into the school, and you help try and resolve some of those.
Oh yeah, the biggest thing, and it goes back to when we talk to teachers, is knowing your kids. You got to know your kids, so we talked about that at the preventive measure. If we know our kids and we're really interacting with our students and getting to really work and understand their background, because that's the key, is understanding where they're coming from. The hardships that some of our kids come through is very key, and you build that relationship. Our staff builds that relationship. They're able to be preventive, and that's what we're looking for, preventive solutions.
And that's what's so great about our first five, that our entire district will be doing the first week of school, that all of our teachers will be really intentional about building those great relationships.
Say a little bit more about that, especially for our new teachers.
Right. So the first five is the first week of school. Everyone, elementary through secondary, will be talking with their kids about creating respect agreements. What does respect mean to me? What does it mean to you? Creating those calming areas. So then when we bring those emotional issues, it's okay for me to take a moment to to be calm and what is it like to regulate those emotions, and for our kids to see that we have to do it as well, and to help them to do that so that, again, they can feel safe and be able to be engaged in this great curriculum that we have designed for them.
I've seen some research that says social and emotional learning for students also is beneficial for the adults.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because
yes.
you recognize the baggage that we all have
Right.
in terms of trying to serve students. You see that with little ones as well.
Yeah, of course. And I think what's so exciting about Fort Worth ISD is that it's progressive. I mean, we have the first 5. We're saying to our teachers, to our staff, that it's important. That it's important to build those relationships. It's important to check in. It's important to check yourself, how you're feeling. Because we all, it's, first of the year can be kind of stressful. Everybody's coming at one time, and we're trying to make sure we have everything prepared. And so it's that time that we say it really is important to build that relationship at the forefront. And yes, curriculum is important, and you have it, but also they're not going to get there if we haven't built that relationship.
Right. CETO works not only at the state level, school boards, and the national level with the Council of Urban Boards of Education, but here in the community with our youth, with our young men and young women. To share a little bit about your work with My Brother's Keeper.
So I think what I'm listening to is the restorative practices, the work that's really going district-wide, and that's exciting from a juvenile justice perspective, that we're meeting young people where they're at and not where we want them to be. And listening to this table and listening to this leadership is really inspiring. I mean, to think exactly what you just said, Maria, that we are probably not only progressive, but hopefully sooner rather than later, the national leaders on how to work with young people, right? And especially young people in large urban settings. So the challenges that we have are not necessarily seen as challenges. We have a leader like the gentleman that sits next to me who coined the line, right? That we will not see young people as...
Our young people are not problems to be solved. Rather, they're assets to be invested in.
That's right.
Yeah. So Fort Worth ISD, different from lots of large urban districts that I've had experience in. Really, there's a sense of community here that doesn't exist other places. You're born and raised here in Fort Worth.
Yes, born and raised in Fort Worth. Really excited about it. I've gone through Lily B. Clayton, McLean, Dunbar High School. Fort Worth is home to me. Yeah. So, and I just.
And you talked about some of the parents of your students.
Right. Yes.
I don't mean to call out any of our age as we all get older.
Fine. But what's exciting about being a part of Fort Worth is that now, being at Eastern Hills, I'm able to see some of my students. They're bringing their kids to Eastern Hills Elementary, which I think is just great because we are all invested. For them to know that we are all invested in developing your children and being a part in partnership with your kids.
Right, investing in our kids today because they're the future of Fort Worth. You talked a little bit about that in the interview process.
Yeah, it's really great to see, my amazing staff that I have work with our students in all capacities. Because we're building the future of our students, and most importantly, we're filling spaces in the Fort Worth ISD, whether it's as a teacher, as a custodian, as a working in the office. We are building the next future of our students and really building those relationships and letting them know that, you belong here in this building, you belong in Fort Worth ISD as a student and as someone that can be employed.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, and maybe we can kind of go around the table. So Fort Worth ISD last year adopted the theme, "You belong here," aquí perteneces. That is a big concept because it's not only talking about students, parents, this is a safe place, but also our faculty and staff want to make sure that there's a sense of community. So I would ask each one of you, what does that phrase mean to you? And then follow up with, why did you choose Fort Worth ISD? What does "you belong here" mean to you?
Sure. Well, I really believe that every single one of us belongs here. All of our teachers, all of our staff. I think for me, "you belong here" means that every single staff member plays a vital role. We talked about how, in restorative practices training, I don't know if y'all know this, but our bus drivers are all being trained this week on restorative practices.
Great.
Our secretaries, our clerks, they all play that vital leadership role. No one has a more important role in the students' lives. So I think "you belong here" for me means you are here for a reason. and it really is to impact the lives of our students. And that is exciting. That is exciting for us.
Why did you choose Fort Worth ISD?
Well, I chose Fort Worth ISD. I came here because my daughter was accepted into a Spanish immersion program, and so that was my first initial entry into Fort Worth ISD. And then as I saw the focus of the district, I thought, this is where I want to be. I want to be in a place that really is listening to our teachers, asking them what they need, asking what our staff needs, and being proactive in providing that. So
that's great. Yeah. And the three areas obviously are early literacy, middle years math, and college and career preparedness. What does you belong here mean to you, Jeff?
Well, it means to me just a sense of community. When we look at our curriculum now and how all students in all schools deserve the best education that they can get, moving around, no matter where you go, no matter what side of the city, you're going to get the best education from the best staff members and the best community in Fort Worth ISD. It just means that we are building our future in hopes that we can bring some of these amazing students back to be in our schools to continue the wonderful legacy that Fort Worth ISD has.
How long have you been here?
This is my 22nd year,
wow.
And, I remember Arcadio Garcia hired me from Buffalo, New York, and he made me feel welcomed. Back 22 years ago, you belong here is what I felt when I was interviewing with him. Bringing me to Fort Worth. This is my home. My wife works here. My kids have thrived in the Fort Worth ISD. It's just really exciting to be part of this in all capacities. My most proudest moment was about 5 years ago when I had a chance and opportunity to interview and hire one of my former students when I was at Poly High School to teach Algebra 1. And what a great, full circle that was made to see her just come through a system and just do amazing jobs, an amazing job at the school when we hired her. So that's just what that means to me, just the community, and you're always welcome here at any time.
This is a big city and a small town, but Fort Worth ISD also has a family feel as well to me. What does You Belong Here mean to you?
When I think about You Belong Here, it's that we are all here right now for a reason, and it's so intentional, and it's not by chance that we're all sitting around this table and thinking about the teachers. It's not by chance that whoever you're teaching next to, there's a reason. Whatever student that's coming here at that moment, it's very intentional in design, and so all of us belong here for this particular moment, for this special moment, to work together to invest in our kids, so that it's right now and it's purposeful.
And you started in Fort Worth ISD at 5 years old, sounds like.
I did.
And you continued on, but I understand that when you were an undergrad, you were thinking the business world or something.
Right, I was trying to run away from Fort Worth ISD because my entire family, just being a part of it, and I was going to be a financial analyst. I was going to go and move to Boston, but it was just a moment in my freshman year at UT that I immediately said, I want to go back and teach at Dunbar High School. It was just woke up, and I'm not the only one. So many of my classmates and so many people that I know in Fort Worth have come back so that we can work together and do the things like Miss Daniels at Lily B. Clayton or Miss Gonzalez at McLean 6 that did for me, and just be a part of our beautiful and wonderful city and district.
That's great. Rodrigo?
I've been in Fort Worth 15 years. I really enjoy the atmosphere of the city. I enjoy working in this area. I've always been treated well by Fort Worth ISD. They've always taken care of me. And I've built positive working relationships with a lot of people here. A lot of principals have become longtime friends of mine that I'm going to see, for the rest of my life. It's a great working environment. I've always felt it's a great working environment. We're on the forefront of education, I always feel. Especially the last 3 or 4 years, we've really put a lot of things in place to support the students and support our staff. The reason I feel like I belong here is I'm here to support students, take care of students. I always give the stories. I have a son in school, and it's very important for them to provide, I know that he's in another school, and when I work with students, I see my son in students. So I want to make sure that they are taken care of, because I know there's another educator at that other school, taking care of my son, another coach, another teacher.
And you feel like your students are your kids.
Oh, yeah.
How do you get high school students to buy into that they belong here?
Number one thing, you got to talk to them. You got to build that relationship. They have to feel part of the campus. That's the number one thing. You know, that if you're gonna, you don't have to be. You know, you can join football, you can be in band, you can be in theater arts. There's something on that campus for you to buy into, because we want you to be part of our school community. Somebody talked about the school is the hub of a community, and it is. I mean, I have kids there, especially high school. I got kids there at 6 in the morning, and some of them don't leave till 10 o'clock at night. You know, we're there. I have teachers and coaches there working with our kids Monday through Saturday, even on Sundays. You know, you talk about ROTC programs, football programs, sports. I mean, theater arts programs. I mean, teachers and staff are dedicated to the time, and if people don't understand the time sometimes our teachers put in with our students.
So these are some of the hardest working professionals that I've worked with. Cinto,
Yes.
you belong here. What does that mean to you for Fort Worth ISD,
So
and you and your family even?
Yeah, so from a parent lens, first and foremost, and noting, by the way, that the majority of the board now are parents in Fort Worth ISD. That's an exciting dynamic for us. So for me personally, you belong here is that I'm going to be walking my son over as an 8th grader at J.P. Elder Middle School, visiting my brother's keeper young people and the Young Ladies and Girls Inc., and knowing and hearing from them that this is what they're experiencing, that they feel welcome, that there's a place for them. And then from a macro level, then as a board member perspective, as one board member perspective, is that the entire system is welcoming to every single young person and family, regardless of immigration status, regardless of any ism or any social construct, that they know that Fort Worth ISD is the right choice for them. And being fully aware that there's going to be multiple choices and options for families. And I think that Fort Worth ISD is going to provide the best one. And so then why Fort Worth ISD for me? Fort Worth ISD for me was important that we change the narrative around urban districts and knowing and seeing surrounding districts around us and the perceptions that people have about them and then perceptions that people have about us. So for me, it was important that not only as my 2 oldest sons have graduated from Fort Worth ISD, but even my third one. That my third one at dinner yesterday was saying, Dad, last year was probably my greatest year in education. And it was as a 7th grader at J.P. Elder, right? And so I hear the narrative, I hear the stories, and I hear about really the deficit-minded conversations. And I think that hearing it from my son, hearing that asset-based perspective, for me, that's what's really significant in Fort Worth ISD. But what about you, Dr. Scrivener? I mean, you know, what does you belong here mean to you? And why did you choose Fort Worth ISD?
Well, so this is my 17th year as a superintendent. So I've done this for a long time. I've done it in many different communities. And I think Fort Worth ISD is perfectly poised to be the premier urban school district. Why? Because we have the scale, we're a big district, over 85,000 students, but we also are able to build small communities and build a sense of community. I'm a firm believer that schools can do one of two things. They can recreate society as it already exists, where you can predict achievement by zip code, or they can create society as it should be, where every corner of our 209 square miles, there's opportunity for achievement. And the board's mission, the board president's mission, of preparing all students for success in college, career, and community leadership. I believe that that's the only way we can be successful, and why the 4 of you were selected for this conversation is because you understand we have to listen, we have to learn from our communities, internal and external, and then we can lead. And I'm very, very encouraged about the future for Fort Worth ISD and your job in preparing our students for the future, but also identifying our teacher leaders and our assistant principals who will move on and take leadership positions in the district. So I want to thank each of you for being part of this today, and I'm very, very optimistic about 2019 school year. I'll be visiting your campuses and many, many others of our 143 this year. And I want to thank you, Jacinto, for your leadership and leading our new board, who really, we are about ready to start the modern age of Fort Worth ISD with a forward-thinking board. And I want to thank you for your leadership in that area.
I want to thank you, Dr. Scrivener.
Great, thank you. And thank all of you, Board President Jacinto Ramos, our principals, Myrna Blanchard, Jeff Bartolotta, Whitney Scott, and Rodrigo Durbin. And thank each one of you, our faculty and staff, for your time today. I wish you the very best this school year. I'll be out to your campuses to check in and see how you're doing, see what you need as you educate and guide our students, both academically but also in terms of their social and emotional growth. We want to foster an environment of belonging on your campus and in your classroom. So thank you. Have a great first day. Have a great year, and let's get off to a great start. Rise and shine on 819.